Talking on a podcast, I love it when I see millionaires talking about how to make millions. This is not an easy game, and it is a law of probabilities, and it's like throwing the dice, the dart or flipping a coin. It can go 20 the same way in a row, and that's not negating the true probability of it. No. You could equally here have given up your job, and then you don't have a winner for 3 months. You've failed.
Yeah. I used to wake up in the middle of the night with positions on, but I'd be awake at 3 in the morning looking at my phone or modifying a position. Or
I'm thinking, what's going on with him? He keeps ringing his mate up, going, I could put £5 in now, but we're on the move, like we're walking around London. And then it just dawned on me, he's on margin.
Prop game
risk.
It's a tough game because people are trying to manipulate, so you get a lot of cheaters, as we're experiencing at the moment, right?
I will never, ever, ever find my eventual peace. Why I still work with that man.
Me neither. I'm being funny, right? This is my view. Who the fuck wants a profit cap? Right, welcome to Alpha Capital Group's Roundtable. Far from King Arthur's Roundtable, more like the East London version. But we're here. We've got Planty to the right. That's the most intelligent guy I know. We've got Andrew, and obviously you've got the pretty man in the corner there that is good for the camera, which is George Kohler. I've got a bit of a face for the radio, but never mind. So today, I believe we're going to be putting our hand in a fishbowl and picking out some topics to discuss and debate. Who wants to start?
I said Georgie kick off, I think.
I'll start it.
We'll go round.
Make sure you put your watch in the camera, George. Good lad.
Stop it, you flunker.
Keep that in.
Right. You can be a profitable prop firm trader, but a bad live capital trader. Yes.
I think you're probably more suited for this question because you were a
yes,
prop trader.
because with a profitable prop firm trader, you don't know. You don't put 10,000 in a live account and then blow 10,000 of that account, stick another 10,000 in, blow 10,000 of that account. You're putting in live capital trading, you're losing everything that you put in on that trade. Whereas with a prop firm, you could spend 1,000 on 5 challenges and blow 5 challenges over the course of 5-6 months, for instance. And then you get one qualified analyst account and you have a good month and you make 20,000 on that account. Yeah. Whereas on a live trading account, if you blow 20,000 over 5 months and then you have a good month and you make 20,000, you break even.
But that's it's the age-old things that you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
And you pay for your mistakes in real time, in full, on a live capital account, which probably will progress you maybe to be a slightly better trader in a sense, because you might take less risk, you might learn from your mistakes quicker because it's more painful. Yeah. Whereas on a prop account, if you've got a $25,000 account for $150, you could go through a few of those and you're only paying for a lesson for $150 as opposed to $1,000, $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah, I mean it's less psychologically damaging, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can build yourself up in that. Like I say, whatever your challenge fee is your maximum exposure, and you're still learning, and you're not getting damaged.
Well, you'd actually learn quicker.
Yeah,
wouldn't you? By doing it that way,
For sure, you would.
And also, if you did load up your first ever live account with 10 grand and lose it all, then you might not ever want to come back.
Yeah, you might. That might just write you off.
But I think it cuts the rush as well, doesn't it? It's like whatever you do, if you're having that, getting the buzz out of it, like if you're trading live funds and you're holding on to a position and you're adding more money for leverage or you're adding to the position, you've got no cut-off point. You're kind of chasing it and following it into the end.
It's a good topic in and of itself is the psychological differences between a live account, your own 10,000 in an account, how you would trade that compared to your $10,000 alpha account, how you would trade that. If you put them side by side, every single person, I assume, would trade them. 99% of people would trade them 2 accounts very differently.
Yeah, see, when I started, there was no such thing as a prop account.
No.
And I can imagine if I did have a prop account when I first started, I'd go racy. Straight off the bat, I'd go racing. Probably my second time, or probably even my third time. And then you just slowed down, and then you'd have to educate yourself over a period of time.
Because if you fancy a punt on a prop account, you're punting your $200 fee. Whereas if you fancy a punt on your live account, you're punting your $1,000, $2,000, whatever risk you pay for it in full.
But I do think it's stop. You get a stop. Like if you iron your analyst account out and your prop account, like you can stop. You have to go back through the process of purchasing a new one. Going through the whole.
It's the time.
You have to think about it. Whereas if you're a bit offside, you go, let's put some more money in and keep trading.
That is true.
Yeah, 100%.
Because on a live account, you can just redeposit another grand.
Straight away.
You get margin called. You
and
can
add
redeposit.
Add to it.
Yeah, there's no. Whereas
break.
on prop, it could be another 2 months before you get back to that stage where you can earn real cash.
I think why it makes it a good training ground though is that rather than do that and it puts you off in real live accounts. It's the reason why most people blow up to start with. Is you're not in that psyche of stop loss.
Yeah.
There's no way you can trade any these prop challenges without getting stop loss into your idea, because you're very quickly hitting that drawdown, and it's a completely different way of trading. Because for instance, I'm always talking about positions I've got on in my pension side of it. I've got a longer time frame. I can relax. I've got levels and percentages that I'm dealing with.
Looking at
whereas you're dealing
years,
with ticks and pips.
Yeah.
It's completely different, and you've got to change. You've got to be disciplined. It makes you be disciplined.
Yeah.
In fact, as I always said, I'd love to have been around when I was younger, because it actually builds you up as a different kind of trader.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Computers.
Get me the abacus out.
I didn't have the internet back then, Planty.
But it's true. I mean, there's so many pros to prop trading over your live capital trading, but there's also pros to live capital over
I think
prop.
I also think it is an educational thing. It's a good training battleground for people to learn the game. You know,
progress your
it's very
skills.
Yeah,
You're not going to get whacked in the market and lose more than you can afford to lose, and you can't
it's a
do
game,
that.
really, isn't it?
You pay a one-off set fee. You know what your fee is.
Apparently, it's a full stop loss, isn't it? It's like you said. That's what it is. It's a full stop loss.
Yeah.
To start again. So we all agree with that stuff.
Yeah, all agree. Let's get the magic ball. Planty?
Why not?
Fancy little
delve.
there's a little delve in there.
Dolly's doing your dealing. What have we got here then? To get the old bins on. Oh, it's no good for you, Alex. You need to earn double your salary before leaving your job for trading. Tricky.
So if you're making 30, if you're making 30 a year, you need to make 60 from trading to then leave your 30
to
a year
feel
job.
safe.
Oh, is that what the question means?
Yeah.
So it's
I would-
what's your backdrop that you need to give up and start doing this for a living?
Why would you even give up?
Yeah, I wouldn't see
If
why.
you're young, use this to. If you're making money from it and you've learned a skill set, be smart with it. If you're making some money from prop, reinvest it. Buy a course. Learn how to not be in a salary that's not paying enough in a job to actually expand your skill set. You know
This
what I
is
mean?
what I never understand. You know, when you watch some of these things online, it's not a wage. Trading's not a wage. People get asked how much
Yeah,
you make
you start
from trading
from
a year.
zero straight
And
away.
They seem to have an answer. I will make $50,000 a year from trading. You don't, because it isn't a wage. It's not that consistent. It doesn't work that way. Does it?
Yeah, you could if you have a lose in 6 months
is
and you've got no
probability,
other income, then what? You're really
And if you've got
in
no
shit.
savings, you've got no investments, you've got
Yeah,
nothing to
and
fall
then
back
your
on.
psychology, you're down to zero in your bank. You've got no income coming in. Your account's in negative. You've got you're going to start trading, revenge trading even. It'd be in a rut that's even harder to get out of.
There's never been something so easy or accessible. If you've got prop and you're making money, use that money to build a life for yourself. Like, do things with it, invest in yourself, do courses, do something that can actually, you know, your future future self will thank you for.
Something low risk.
Yeah.
Something that
Yeah.
could
Future
earn you a
self
yield,
can thank
a bit
you
of
for.
income.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get the, everyone
Pay your college debt
everyone
off,
wants
like
to get out of the 9 to 5 and have more freedom and not
Well,
exchange
you
time
can
for
do
money.
that without having to do
you
trading.
don't. I just don't think rush it. I don't think if you make 50 and you make 100 from
And
trading,
if you've got,
I don't
if
think
you've got a family
that's the
and
point
if
at
you've got
which you quit your job.
responsibilities,
Yeah.
don't do it. Like,
No.
I say this from the bottom of my heart. Like, I've seen it before. Like, if you're a single young lad or young woman, and you do what you want, because you're going to learn from life. But if you've got a family to rely on, don't just you've become funded 100k. I've quit my job. You've got kids to look after.
I think the best strategy
You do
always
see
is if you make money in high risk assets, immediately whack it into low risk assets and keep that strategy building. And then
That's when you get the compounding, isn't it?
Yeah,
Which is the winner.
once you build up that pot where you're getting a passive income, whether that's from long-term investments, property, it could be stocks,
Dividends.
or dividends, and that's paying you 20 grand a year. Then you've got a safety net that you can take a bit more of a
We'll
jump.
give a nod to someone that said something about me and you talking on a podcast. I love it when I see millionaires talking about how to make millions. Right? I'm thinking, nice throwaway comment, but we were trying to say some sensible stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, this is not an easy game, and it is a law of probabilities. And regardless of the high-profile people out there that have got big checks,
And I'm skinny
however
as
they've
well,
done
so I
that,
don't know where they've got that from.
I know. Over time in this game, professionals, Drew and I were talking about this earlier, that the run rate towards it, it's like throwing the dice, the dart or flipping the coin. It can go 20 the same way in a row, and that's not negating the true probability of it.
Yeah, no.
You could equally here have given up your job, and then you don't have a winner for 3 months. You're fucked. Honestly,
and then
absolutely.
you're in a world of
So
trouble.
it's always been said, and this used to be the reason why people couldn't go into trading, is that you couldn't afford to do it because you need a big pot of money behind you.
Yeah.
why throw away the advantages of what we're giving you? It's not
Just
it's
an
not-
add-on. It's an add-on.
It's an add-on. It's not.
Yeah,
If you eventually get to that high level, fair enough, you might have a chance, but don't make it your base case.
It is an important topic because unfortunately, I think a lot of people are doing it now.
That's what
Yeah.
people want.
That's what we're
That's,
seeing.
that's their
Doing
goal.
it,
But
right?
I think people are doing it too quickly,
Yeah,
too
absolutely,
early,
I agree,
jumping the gun.
Well,
they've
they've never lost anything.
And you've never seen it.
They've
You've got to
never
go
lost
through a
money.
cycle.
They've never lost
Yeah.
money. They've never felt pain of it.
Exactly.
For losing their own money. So all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you're a great prop
Well,
trader.
but
Doesn't
like-
mean you're going to be a good
But you
lad.
spend the thing
Like
that you
you
forget
said,
is
though,
you
what-
lose half
if-
your money.
Yeah.
You've got to do twice as well to get it back.
Yeah.
And that takes some proper
But
grinding.
if you are, if
And
you
if
are
not,
young,
then you've got to go and get that job back and work
yeah,
your way
and
back
then you
up
borrow.
the ladder
You got
again.
to
That's
borrow
gonna
in the
take
meantime.
time.
You're in a right mess. But by the time you finish,
but though, like you said, if you are young, you haven't got family, you haven't got any responsibilities.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I personally learnt the most lessons while I was at the very bottom, like doing everything I possibly could to learn more, work harder, figure whatever it was. When you're, I think you learn the most through that struggle.
You mean because your back was up against
Your
the wall
back's
so
up
much
against
that
the wall.
you
You've
had
got
to
you've got
educate yourself?
you've got no other option other than to fight forward and figure it out and find a
Yeah.
way. Whereas sometimes there is a point to the degree of comfort that you'll take less risk, which sometimes is good, but it depends where you see yourself going.
I think what
where
to take
your
from what
end
you're saying
goal
there is, if you feel comfortable now, you're probably feeling in the wrong emotion to do this.
Yeah.
What you want to be doing is going away and working super hard and being ahead of the game.
Sometimes
before you
I
do
don't
it. It's like-
particularly like being comfortable and secure and not in my
It's-
seat. But
Being comfortable is an uncomfortable feeling,
yes,
right? Is what you're
yeah,
saying
it is.
in a
Yeah,
weird way. Yeah,
I don't feel like I'm at an age or a point in my life where I should be able to sit back.
No, you're not.
Like chill out,
No.
be comfy and enjoy
Let's
it.
just picture it for a minute though, because it does sound nice.
Yeah, it does.
sounds
I
nice.
think we're all looking for that.
I've got the camera,
eventual
I've got the,
peace,
I've got
don't
the
we?
camera
Yeah.
light on there.
Yeah.
Got your specs on.
But what I've realised is
Margarita, please.
I will never, ever, ever find my eventual peace. Why I still work with that man.
Me neither. Fuck, me neither.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Next.
put your hand in the book.
Oh, right, yeah.
Red pill or blue pill,
It's a
Drew?
horrible little bowl.
Go on, Luke, pull forward.
It's getting it out again. That's the problem.
Are profit caps beneficial or negative for the trader?
Depends on the trader.
Hot topic.
Yeah, that is. It's a good question.
I'm being funny, right? This is my view. Who the fuck wants a profit cap?
No, no one.
Let's have it right.
No one
Exactly.
ware
So-
no one wants it, and I don't think
Or
they
who
should.
are
I
we
don't
to
think-
tell people that?
I don't think they
That's my
should.
opinion.
I don't think. I also don't think that you should impose it.
No,
Or-
you shouldn't.
But the benefit to it, and we've seen this countless times. A trader will get an account up 100 to 130, but they'll chase 150. But instead of going from 130 to 150, they go from 130 to 100, or they'll blow the account and they get
but
zero.
Isn't that a learning curve they needed?
Yeah.
We just discussed.
Yeah, of course.
That's their
And
problem.
when you trade,
That's theirs, yeah.
you're a lone wolf. That's why you do it for.
Yeah.
You're not 90% of the time. I mean, how many times do we offer your unbelievable services?
To get you to sleep at night.
Yeah. But like, and people don't want to go on there because they want to be their own man or own woman. Sorry, you've got to say that, or own whatever you identify as. You've got to. They want to be that own lone wolf. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. So for us
No,
to say
I
you
do
can't have
agree
that,
on the profit cap.
it's wrong.
There is a slight argument to it that. No, I don't. It's not a one size fits all. I don't think any single rule is going to benefit 100% of the populace or the people that trade. But there will be some that will benefit.
Oh, 100%.
It will stop the
But
over trading.
then they'd
It will
have
stop
to
them
want
over
that. They'd have to
risking.
want
Yeah,
that.
it will stop them chasing a number. And
If
like,
I
as in,
went-
if the cap was 5,000, every time you hit 5,000, you get the payout.
Yeah.
So every time you hit 5k, you get paid. Every time you hit 5k, it doesn't mean you can't make 20k in a month.
But
You just
regardless how
have
you look
to-
at it, if I've just got into Palm Beach Casino in Mayfair today and I've put 500.
Yeah,
quid
you don't
down,
want to get capped
and
at
I've said,
5k.
all right, I'm here to play. You know what I mean? I'm there. I've got my drink on the side, and I'm winning some money. And they go, "Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, stop.
You've won $1,000. Can you fuck off now?" Do you know
that
what I
does
mean?
actually happen.
That-
Yeah, you've won too much. See you later.
Once to implement the
Remember
profit
that?
cap.
Have you got ID there, sir?
It's more like one of those whiskey and Jamesons. And
Yeah,
we'll have that
yeah,
off you in half an hour.
Yeah, well, they'll just start double
But
pouring.
I think regardless of whether it's a profit topping out, whatever it is, if we can offer tools that help people stop,
yeah,
it's important. Does this come up in my risk reviews?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Haven't you got stop losses and limit orders
Yeah,
to
exactly.
manage that trade
No,
anyway?
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
definitely.
talking about the psychology side of
tools.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Remember-
we shouldn't have. This
Serious
is
point,
always
though,
this is always my thing. We shouldn't have to do that. You give people an opportunity of a lifetime. Let's have it right in this industry. If you can't keep your own keep your own head and you keep your own.
But
Then you shouldn't be doing it then.
But also the whole point in what we're looking for is for those skilled and talented individuals, the 5 or 10% of traders that can do it themselves.
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise, we don't
point?
need you. Like,
No,
what's the point in the whole business model?
What's
you know?
the point in doing it?
If we're going to do it all for you, implement every restriction and tell you to do it this way and that way and this way, and restrict you here and you can't do this. You have to do it like that. It becomes,
the alternative to that is
pointless.
we use one of the other tools that you've got me doing, which is the risk reviews.
Yep.
So I've got people, we do, and everyone please take advantage. You're welcome, come and have a chat.
Every single person, at least 1,000 people next week.
Email Planty at alphacapitalgroup.uk.
Because I've emailed 1,000 of you and none of you come back, so I don't really know what's going on.
Are we not getting many
percent
there?
Planty.
I would have thought that would be a popular
I did,
thing,
and it was, and I think it all got confused a bit in the first instance. People thought they were getting something for free. Well, you're getting some good advice, and we're talking through some strategies, and some good things have come up from this. People have taken control of their own ideas. They're doing well, and they still can't understand how they're blowing up, and they're going, just talk to me, and I'll try and find ways of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Some of them, it all comes down to the temptation of having the mobile over just sitting at a desktop.
Yeah.
Find your own environment, and you just...
So that's a good point.
We've come up with some strategies with some people.
Going downstairs on your vape with your phone.
But I've
But
had
quite
it
literally,
before.
of either having two mobiles, one guy, he's got a caring community around him of mates who want to help him, so it's kind of like verify that he's doing a trade before he puts it on, and it's just cutting out the crap that is stopping him staying qualified.
Yeah, that's
trading.
a good point. Yeah.
No,
but it is.
I'm
joking.
I used to wake up in the middle of the night with positions on. I used to wake
Drew,
me
how
up.
many
to
times
keep
have
me
you
up.
woke
The old, what's that button?
Yeah, but if you
Mrs.
put on
Go,
my
what's that
phone,
buzzing? 'Cause I put that in
I'd
the
be
drawer.
awake at 3 a.m. just looking at my. But I'd be awake at 3 a.m. looking at my phone or modifying a position. Whereas if I didn't have it on my phone,
That's it.
What's
I'm
it like
not going to
trading
get out of
client
bed.
money?
And the point is,
What have you had?
you've got yourself to an idea of you know what your stop loss is, and you're going to let it run. Why are you messing
Does
around?
that keep you up
Oh,
still
it used
tonight?
to. Yeah, I remember waking up to 3 a.m. margin calls and like first thing you do when you wake up, you check your blower like under the covers because you're so scared to look at it because you know
When a
you're
meme on
offside,
that,
you
yeah.
know
It's
risk
gonna
at all.
be- yeah, how much has it
some
gone offside?
Horrendous sleepless nights.
Welcome
Got
to
it.
Good Morning Britain, and you're
Yeah,
going to go to the
right,
city
yeah.
in an hour.
And I'm just throwing up. Yeah.
Can you please call us back? It's an urgent message.
But no, I'd say that we all disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
But even that though, right? We've all. I've just said, I used to get up at 3. You've said you woke up feeling sick. I think everyone does. But to everyone that's watching that maybe has felt that way, or maybe did last night, or does today, or did last week, or a year ago, don't feel like that's a normal feeling. I think everyone in this
we're not being
market
dismissive of it.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
being dismissive. everyone feels
Everyone
that,
irons
and I don't.
themselves
Yeah,
out sometimes.
there's nothing wrong with that feeling. I don't think.
I think
but
what you're saying, anybody who's gone
yeah,
or
if
is
you-
going on a trading journey is going to have that.
yeah,
mindset.
you're gonna have that. You're gonna get in that. It's not all sunshines and
Not for
rainbows.
the faint-hearted.
This is
It's
just changing
definitely not
probabilities
fun.
in a small way to your advantage.
Yeah.
It's not anyone that's on a 90-10 run rate. Beware when they get all
Yeah,
arrogant
you're
and
gonna-
jumping around.
yeah.
That ain't lasting. It's
Yeah.
Right, hand in the bowl.
Does it fit?
You get in the bowl. What's that? M&M's?
fit that.
green ones. Green ones on.
Come on.
Smaller daily drawdown is more beneficial for the trader.
See the other side of the same argument. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's the other side of the same argument.
Yeah. Yes and no. Again, similar to, I know this is about Alpha Capital Group, but similar to what we're doing on Alpha Futures. There's a tighter daily drawdown, but it's a soft breach. So you don't lose the account. You hit 2%. Soft breaches.
soft
stop
breach.
trading for the day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow
Well,
start
you got
again.
an option, I believe, isn't it? Is it option, or do we
Yeah.
are we giving it as an option? Yeah.
But the same on again, there's pros and cons to it, right? If we half it to 3%, let's say we reduce it to 3%, it will stop more traders out because they can lose less than what they could originally lose of 5%. But
Well, this should sound mega selfish, but if we did do that, then we'd lose a lot of business. So we wouldn't do
yeah,
it,
no,
you know.
we wouldn't do it.
And also, I think you need more room than that as well. I
yeah,
don't think
you
need
need
tighter
the
than
buffer.
what
you need more
You
room.
need the buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tight enough
mean-
as it is. You do need that bit of a buffer.
And like we said, we don't want to restrict everyone on everything. That's not what
And it's
the
not
model's
as
there
like I say,
for to do.
it is different to trading live money. Like I've got a thing today. You saw me this morning. I've got a trade on. I've had to put my margin in for because if that wasn't a prop account,
It was quite funny, right? So we went out for brekkie. I'd seen him for a couple of weeks, and normally we get straight into conversation. I can see he's just non-stop checking his blower. Right? It's actually quite funny because we're having this conversation now, right? I'm thinking, what's going on with him? And he keeps ringing his mate up, going, God, I could put £5,000 in now, but we're on the move, like we're walking around London. And then it just dawned on me, he's a margin call.
He's getting margin call.
He's a margin call. I
Probably still,
was a
I
bit
haven't
weird.
checked my phone. I'm probably still on margin. I'm going to be margin now.
Yeah, since we're doing this, he's definitely
been margined out.
For anyone that wants to know what that looks like, you remember the original Total Recall, and you're there, the phone's ringing, and you stood there at the old entrance to Mars, and they're trying to work out whether he's real or not, and all of a sudden that little bead of sweat
just
starts coming
drips.
down the head. That's when it's margin on the phone call.
I bought him a massive breakfast. Like, no, I don't want it.
I feel sick.
How are you getting back to Newcastle tonight? Well, I'm either flying or I'm walking. Right, next question.
Quality.
Let's have a look.
Whoever made these questions,
You good?
Yeah, they're good questions. Some good debates going on.
good debates. Ooh.
Well, there you go. Prop firms have made it easier to become a profitable trader.
I think it goes back to
context?
the first question, the live versus. I think online, from the face of it, you could just show that you've had 10,000 on a payout split, but it doesn't show how hard it was to get there, how many accounts that it took you, how many months it took you, how much you invested into not invested, but paid in fees to get those accounts. I wouldn't. But it's like what you said. It is educational.
I think
it's a learning curve.
It
forces you to be
I think
more
the prop game
risk.
It's a tough game because people are trying to manipulate. So you get a lot of cheaters, as we're experiencing at the moment, right? So you've got a lot of firms changing the rules because they are in a bit of trouble because they don't know how to manage certain things. Yeah. But I do also think there's going to be a lot of other firms, which we're seeing at the moment, that are coming out because all the bigger firms like us and some of the other bigger firms have changed certain things to make the market better for the longevity of it. So you're going to get a lot of fly-by nights, and you just got to be careful with that because they will see like, oh, I'm moving the drawdown to this, or I'm doing this, or this is easier. Come and get funded with us. But it's all going to, if you're not the first one, in the end, you're going to be.
Yeah, but we've never really deviated from our.
No,
rules.
we've
If
never.
anything, we've made them better.
Yeah,
but
we've changed the news rules.
Going back to that question, I think there's no doubt about it that prop firms have made it easier to become a profitable trader.
You can make more money with less.
Again, going back to the live
fixed
account, you end up being offside on a live account. You can't put a trade on. You breach that first account, you start afresh. Don't forget. So
that's
I've
true.
always said it's a cheaper entry to market.
Massively.
And the prop industry has made it much easier to become profitable.
Definitely.
Without doubt about it.
Yeah,
and the risk is less for the individual, the user. You can't like Alex is sitting here now on margin call. He's got to top up his. He's got to pay another £5,000 margin.
I bet he wish we stopped him out.
Yeah, if we stopped you out at 5% loss, you'd be laughing.
But the definition of
You'd be
a
up.
profitable trader is creating an environment and a thought process that gets you a strategy that makes you profitable, which you don't necessarily get.
You don't get that live. No.
This is the only way you win on this is doing it
on a live account as well. If you look at anywhere you go and trade live, you're on your own devices. No one's checking how much you're risking or putting any implementation to stop you losing other than losing your entire deposit. So there's no negative balance protection. But that's about it. Other than that, you're on your own devices. Whereas with the prop industry, all of our competitors all have communities. Everyone's, we've got 80, 90,000 in our Discord. We've got teams of support, live chats, emails, WhatsApp. There's so many different methods that they can reach out to us, and
I don't think
different
people
traders alike.
How hard it is sometimes to run a prop when you get to that size. All the stuff that comes with it, man. It's
been an eye opener.
Oh, it's insane. Like when you get to all these new props now,
crazy.
they think we're going to do it better than everyone else. You just wait until you start.
As soon as they've
come back, I've got your names marked as well. I see you. I've got your names marked.
Yeah, once you hit a size, there's a few key kind of stages. Once you hit a few certain sizes, and not necessarily, it's nothing to do with revenue. It's the number of clients that you have to deal with, and those percentages. Because you're always going to have 1% of people, let's say, that are just completely unhappy or causing an issue, etc. If you've only got 1,000 clients, 1% is not a lot. But you've got 500,000 clients or 250,000 clients. 1% is a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
And
especially when 0.05% of them still don't know what a pip is. It's even harder. Who's you'd be surprised. Who's next?
Georgie. Go on, get over there.
Come on, Jeff.
It's funny that, isn't it? Some of the Twitter feedback we're getting is we've started protecting margins, and that's a negative. That's got to be a positive for everyone. The fact that we are making sure we're here. By definition, if
listen,
that sort of size, you cannot.
I would like to say this because I wasn't going to say it today, but I want to say it because it does. The other one thing that does keep me up at night, and this is probably going to antagonise me even more, is that Twitter.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Honestly,
Can't stand it.
honestly, if I could serve a couple of years for getting a hold of some of the Twitter people, I would definitely do it. I can't stand them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak bad of anyone or.
I do. I don't like it.
Yeah, I think some of the issues with the industry is that some of the communities are making it worse for the entire industry.
Well, just in general, what you're saying about Twitter and the people that are coming onto you on Twitter, that's not a problem with the prop industry. That's just a problem with modern day society. Everybody's a hero, aren't they?
But what we've seen,
social
and this is
media.
where it's really sad, or it's not really sad, but it just proves some of the people that are in our industry. There's prop owners that
get involved in that.
No, they're utilising these toxic people.
Yeah.
And paying them.
They use it to get at others.
Go and get
There's so much underhanded stuff that's going on to get at other props.
That's just terrible. That's very sad, though.
Very sad,
very
weak.
weak.
But there's a lot of people doing it,
and there's also individuals that know they're in the wrong and go to Twitter knowing they're in the wrong. They won't say all the facts
and put up 90% of it.
Yeah, and then they'll try and strong arm and get the community behind them and strong arm.
How many prop firm review stuff have we had in our Twitter?
Yeah,
and then you've sent the stuff, the proof, the evidence
to every company. And there's some good in it because it forces companies to think twice, others and including us, but everyone it makes you think twice, and you can't breach or enforce a rule that doesn't exist because
it also
that's
makes you
unfair
think twice
and
in
right.
certain countries as well, because you get some behaviour comes from a large group of people on your books has come from a certain country. You've seen it in the past. People just banning them countries, which is not fair on the good people. On the good people. Yeah. But that will cause that to happen because they're forcing companies' hands. Because I'm spending some of my time, and my team's spending my time having arguments and trying to calm the situation down that should never have happened
from that same geographical
location. And anyway.
Next one. To become a profitable trader, you must understand fundamentals.
I'm not allowed to say anything.
We'll let you kick this off, Planty.
It's got to be you.
It's got to be you to kick that one off.
Well, it's interesting because you don't have to. Straight up, you can be profitable if you want.
Yeah.
Because it's proven some people can just trade technicals alone.
100% we have people making money that have never looked or read a news article. Yeah.
Not in any way negative, but
But do you not think long term though? You need to understand
long term.
If you're going to
if you want to make this a career out of it.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to quit your 9 to 5.
Yeah. And as I've always said, if you understand technicals 100%, you've got to realise those technicals are being created by the fundamentals, and how people react to those fundamentals creates the volume. You're not going to go onto your punter with 10 million to spend and go, well, there's a line here, and I'm guessing that is an order block there. What do you mean you're guessing it's an order? Well, line shows it's bounced off that a couple of times, and there's a fair value gap up there, one of 20 that I think that's the most important. Why? You go like, Drew, you've been fucking serious. That's what you're going to get. Now, if you can back that up and say why that's a level that's created volume,
this is
why people are reacting that way, and what the risks are, and where it can, it might do this, it might do that. Well,
if this news comes out, then that will invalidate it.
But that's the very nature of things. It's like, what's the probabilities of these things happening?
Of course.
Where should you be?
And I get that, but just going back to the question, just what you said there at the start, do you think then it is possible, if I loaded you up a trading account today, and you've got no access to news flow whatsoever, no media, no nothing, technically you could trade and make money on that over the course of a month, let's just say.
Absolutely. It just depends how you're using that. You need to be systematic. And that's one of the things that helps. So and that is why...
You have to avoid certain times in the day.
Yeah. It's why certain traders...
You'd certainly need past data to reference that.
Absolutely. So people back test. And they go through these things religiously. The people are really successful, and they find things that work more often than not. It isn't 100%, and this is what is not helpful again in the Twitter sphere and etc. People telling you that you can just do this one strategy and it works every time.
Yeah, no.
It's not. It's tilting it slightly. So I would expect to have if I could get you anywhere between 55, 45, 60, 40 on a technical only argument, you'd be quitted. But it would take time because by definition you're losing 40% of the time there.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt you. You can't go in a straight line when that's happening.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But you can tighten the whole thing up with the fundamentals. And what we're trying to get across, and the reason why I use my particular indicators, the wave theory, etc., is that reflects a lot of the news flow. So a lot of the time you can tell whether it's almost 90% going to go in a particular way, and we've got a certain news flow coming out. That is more or less going to cement that.
Yeah.
But we know what the risk is. If that doesn't hit, we're going straight over it. And that's when you can plan for those things. You can have your stop losses in the right place.
Or when
you
you're
can
in
be geared and
and
you
you're
can be
in
ready
no
to
man's
go.
land
Yeah.
as well. You know,
Well, this is important. Like I show an old classic. Remember the old Bollinger Bands and the Bolly?
Yeah.
You can use that for short-term entries, but you've got to use it properly between the 2 standard deviations and the 1 standard deviation. And it's when it's in the outer ones.
Yeah.
And it is what you've just saad, no man's land, it's in the middle. And you're trying to force a trade. You should be that you've got it there, plain and in sight. You don't trade when you're in here. You're guessing.
Yeah.
You know. So these are all confluences that help, but it's all about building it up.
I must say, Planty, very well explained, mate, to be honest. Yeah.
And to be fair as well, a bit of back-end data. A lot of most people think the more volatility, the more money we can make. But on any props, but mainly as well, traditional brokers, deposit-taking brokers, they make the end user, the traders, will make more money in a range-bound market than they will in a
Yeah.
volatile
100%.
market.
This is what I've tried to explain to people.
mile.
But
So
I used to love the markets.
everyone's
I love
waiting.
it.
A lot of people wait for the volatility.
Used
in
to
the
love
news.
to box
disappear.
and did,
Yeah.
didn't we,
And it's-
Joe?
But
It's
you actually want, as a trader, you actually
Trader-
want range-bound markets.
This is what we always
But
love.
that goes to
Market
the
making,
technicals.
etc. Because you get a chance to buy it back. That's the only way you get capturing the spread.
Do you know what I used to do there? In the range-bound market, and FTSE was a very range-bound market, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it can still fall into that months on end. You want to sell the FTSE because it's towards the top of that range. Just buy a 1 month call if you think it's going to stay range bound. Sell it, wait for it to come back up. Use that same call option just to sell against. If it pops through, you're covered, and then just let it expire and close the trade off.
Yep,
If
you
it
keep
breaks out
trading.
that range,
Covered writing. Brilliant.
makes sense.
Legend.
Thank
Good.
you.
But this again, and this brings you around to the meme stuff, the Keith Gill jobby, the GameStop thing. And he's got some very clever advice, and he's absolutely cornered the market, hasn't he, with all these long positions in the options.
Yeah.
And that is, he knows full well with the advice, the gamma hammer, which is basically when you get short of an option situation, you get shorter the more it goes up if you're the bloke writing it. So he's taken advantage of that. But it's good to see the market fighting back. We were saying earlier about the UK needs to rebuild itself. Someone's gone in there and advised that company, right, you need to get this out of your stock, issue stock. So everyone short the market can't find it to deliver. The market finds a way of returning everything to normal under normal ideas. But again, like back to your point, the only reason that he's winning is because he's got the thing serially moving. It's taking the volatility away. Everybody has a chance of winning if it's a fair game. But
And on the and then the opposite to that, when you do look at the FTSE, and it's if you take it out over a bigger range, I keep going back to it because it's a market that I look at. When it broke through that all-time high recently, you knew all the retail money was short of that. At the 8,000, at the figure. You knew they're selling
never going
81.
through 8,000.
You knew they were selling
back into
82.
that range,
That weren't just going to pop through. That was going to pop through for a good few
Yeah,
hundred
of course.
points because all the retail short
Because
money
all the
was in
retail,
there.
and it's that psychological level. How many times
And
you look
I
at
don't know
it,
what the
man?
highest prim was. Must have been around about 8,500. I think you were saying earlier. That would have been it. That would have been where they got fully squeezed. Then it's ready to
and then
drop
it's
off.
come
the
back.
good thing was Drew was reading the Planty weekly previews and watching the live shows.
It's the only reason I know all this.
Right? And we'd been going up towards 8,000 and I'd changed that for you, hadn't I, Drew? From being sideways to
I wonder
positive.
how many of our audience watches.
I know, this is a good
watches
point.
and reads your
Well,
content.
I think that's a
because-
sad thing. I think 80% don't.
But
Because they
let's
think
plug it.
But
Let's
the,
use
the,
this
idea- the
opportunity
funny
to-
thing is, as you'd expect,
I'd
the people who do are in love with it and pushing it, and the community is growing, and we're getting some
I
very
think,
interesting people on
there's-
there.
If you really are interested in learning more about the markets, more about fundamentals, more about technicals, you're offering free videos every week, market reports every
And
week.
I'm available all day long.
Yeah,
I
you're
answer
available
everybody.
to DM on. You're in the Discord.
Yeah, this is
Me
what I was,
too,
this
yeah.
is what I was going to ask. So, let's say I'm a customer. I'm trading gold as an example, and I don't necessarily. I'm working, so I can't watch Planty's Planty live on
It's all
a Monday or
recorded,
Friday.
YouTube,
Can
yeah.
I come straight onto Planty and ask his view on gold at a certain
any time of day.
Will you come back to me?
In the Discord.
I'm on the Discord.
On the
The
Discord.
Disco Special.
I've got Planty's
Planty
mobile
we've got
number.
Planty
It's
channel.
07.
Tell you where he lives out.
Shoe size. What size is your sandals?
Little cheeky Samba. No, but it's true, and I do. I say, I just like I got it from you. You said that you always answer people, whatever, and I do.
Yeah.
The only people we don't talk to, and my chat actually self-police it. They're so good, and because they hate it being interrupted by time wasters and haters. But you come out with hate speech, we're not interested.
Yeah,
With that,
no.
we'll answer anything sensible and anything
Yeah.
that you want to get involved in.
Well said.
Or you get banned.
Exactly.
I need to go to the toilet.
Barney, do you want to draw?
It says the Sheffield Derby this year, Alpha Capital will be hosting a box at Bramall Lane.
Bramwell will be a lot cheaper now they're in the championship. So yeah, okay, no problem.
There you go. Right.
He's being serious. Then.
What a weird question.
Are we?
The traders' first big payout should be spent on rewarding themselves. We did talk about this in
On
what's that
rewarding.
village
Yeah.
called where you're all set up. The
I
big
think
village?
we've pretty much covered this. But if you do get a decent payout, why don't you just go and spunk 30% on something that you enjoy and try and tuck the other 70 away or something within
But I think
that
it's,
region?
and I think you got to. That's when it is money that you've got to that you can afford.
Yeah,
But
once,
you should make
if-
sure you get
if you've
something
got
out.
something
Of it.
crippling, like a crippling debt hanging over your
Yeah.
head.
You've got to have a release.
Obviously.
You've got to have a release.
Yeah, and if that's all of it, that's all of it. You know, but definitely agree. You've got to treat yourself. It's a hard game. It's it's tough.
To do it well,
There's
it's
a lot
it's
of
not discipline,
emotions,
isn't it?
up, down,
Yeah.
up, down, up, down. You've got to enjoy your weekends. You've got to enjoy your
the
time
old,
off. You've
will
got
you
to
pay- what-
you got to
should you
enjoy
reward
what you're
yourself
doing
if you
it
had
for.
a
really.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. But also, if you do have, if you don't have that crippling debt, enjoy,
enjoy
a certain
some.
portion.
Definitely,
the rest
definitely.
be tax efficient, get it in an ISA, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of both. I would
Are
say.
you contactable on the Discord for investment advice?
No,
No.
no.
Not investment
Absolutely.
advice,
No.
unless they go direct.
What's this called?
What's this called?
What was the question? What did I miss? What was it?
The thing is, as
reward
well is
yourself,
that's
yeah.
you're not actually joking.
No.
Should you reward yourself for your first big payout? Spend it all.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
All
Wrong
of
man
it?
to ask.
A lot.
No, I'd say
Depends what you're saying.
I'm with
Depends
you.
what you're saying,
A
but
The
what-
maximum is what you can afford.
30-40% of it.
The one thing that I've always learned is all the paradigm thing. You've got to be sensible. But if you want to go and play that game and you want to not get it, like let's say you've just had a payout of $4,000, right? $4,000 to some people is not a lot. To some people, it's the whole world. But for me, it's like if you've got that, and you don't have responsibilities, you have to feed your kids or whatever. Go and feel good about it. Go and do stuff that you would never normally do, like day to day. Go and do something a bit, to just shift your energy levels a little bit. And in doing that, keep living like that. A year's time, 2 years' time, all of a sudden $4,000 becomes very small money, and you want more money, and you want more. If that's your goal, and that's how you want to go with it and build,
Yeah.
you've got to shift it. Some people want to have a $5,000 account and make 400 quid. They're happy. Some people would laugh at that. So it's where you want to, on your pursuit at a young age, is where you want to, what level playing field you want to play at. Because again, you're sitting. If you're a trader that's got a 10k account or 20k account, you had 2k, but you're sitting around traders that are got a 200k account and making 30, 40k, that'll make you want to push on more. So what I say is, if you've been successful, buy something for someone that you love that's helped you out through the times that weren't that good, and go and treat yourself, man, because you can always get money again, And like I say, if you're only gonna do it one time anyway, but if you're thinking long term, you're gonna have that chance to save the money again in the future. So go and treat yourself, because you should be proud, because not a lot of people get them payouts.
It's
what I mean?
hard. It's difficult.
It's very hard. So good on you. Give yourself a pat on the back, and go and have
But
some
this
fun.
also reminds me, going back to the other points about should you have draw protection and all this nonsense.
Unless you want kids, then you probably should do.
He had to, didn't he? But the other side of it, and it's something that is close to your heart again, is and a lot of our traders reinforce it on my Discord channel. When you're in that rut and you need to stop, make sure you've got something else in your life that you can go away to. And some of
You've
them
got to have
deliberately pull
advice.
themselves out
Yeah.
into the gym.
Yeah,
go
gym,
and, like,
sports,
fight the-
boxing,
and
golf.
And we talk to when some kids come on and we
Been
go.
boxing he's been boxing 2 weeks, and he's like, boxing.
He's
Yeah.
been boxing 2 weeks, yeah. But some of them come on and they go, no, I've got no. You go, what's your interest? And like, nothing. Do you
Find
read?
the interest.
And they
Yeah,
literally
you
have
gotta get out,
nothing.
just get out
And we
and
go
fight
like,
and
you've
do
got to
something.
find a release. You're not going to survive
But
doing
you've got to
this.
try
Sometimes-
things. A lot of
Exactly,
people don't try
yeah.
things. So, like,
Yeah, but how can you have no interest?
I know,
That just-
it's kind of...
That sounds strange.
You know what?
to me,
But
like.
some people
you've
have,
got to be
some people have
into
never lived, though, have they? Some people have never. Some people are so defensive. They defend. Oh, I can't do this. Go and live a bit, man. Go and live
Give
a
it a
bit.
try.
Go and find something.
Yeah.
Go and find someone.
Yeah.
Not with your money you've just bought. But on a serious note, go and live a bit. Go and find a passion, because trading can be a passion. But
But it's like even with our staff, that they work their socks off Monday to Friday.
some of them don't even wear socks because they're so down with the kids these days. Posh.
But yeah, when we're on
Down with the kids, no socks.
Portmanteau special.
but when it gets to the
Don't
weekend,
really go with this jumper, do they? But, sorry,
they
mate,
did
go
with
on.
your pink one though in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. No one saw that. did they?
Salmon.
Oh, salmon was
I've got a black
Salmon.
hoodie instead to
Anybody got
wear.
any
Yeah. I wasn't really planning on that, but sorry, mate. Go on.
I was going to say that, like, even with the staff, like they work their socks off all week. A lot of them work overtime. Gets to Friday, we have our team calls. We're always saying, look, you got to wind down over the weekend, enjoy yourself. You don't want to be wrapped up in work and talking to us on the weekend. You want to go,
Yeah, of course.
switch off,
Yeah, yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
yourself,
No,
enjoy
listen,
the
we-
weekend, and then get back to
I
it.
put a point on that as well. We have such an amazing team of staff.
We do, yeah.
We couldn't have done it where we are now without them. I'm going to start bringing them more into this content stuff. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
up in Newcastle, we've got some great characters. We have a great laugh up there.
It looks like it's building nicely.
It's
the-
building
the
nice, like a
Newcastle.
little family. But also, we're going to start doing like employee of the quarter, employee of the month, and
We could bring them on and grill
we'll
them.
bring them on and just they can tell you a bit about
Yeah.
working with us, and we are still looking for staff, especially up in the northeast. I will say that again.
Yeah,
If you do see
Newcastle
this,
based, reach out to Alex.
for all three the companies, customer service, all you have to do is be able to take a joke, work hard, want more for your life, and you've got the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah.
Fancy a little trip up northeast?
Sounds like the way forward, isn't it? Keep my job.
Northern Powerhouse. Yeah.
Which
Yeah, you're
castle
gonna
do I
have-
get?
You're going to have no options soon, Planty.
Yeah, Mrs. P. He's got to move to the northeast. We've got him some student accommodation digs.
Yeah,
Right in,
fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. On the side.
This is good.
Fresh as week.
Trading psychology is bullshit.
Fucking no, definitely not.
Bullshit. No, I disagree on that.
It's 90% of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think 90% of life is psychology, right?
Yeah, I think
Anything you do. So,
Yeah.
even even sit here.
Like we could all go into separate rooms and have a piece of paper that would tell us how to approach the market, and step by step, all four of us take this trade, then take this trade, just on entries maybe. But we all have four
Yeah, we
different.
could all manage the same
psychological
trade,
approaches
and
to
it'll all be in a
It'll
different way.
completely different.
But I'll
outcomes.
definitely hang on till I'm margin calls.
particularly over the course of a month, 2 months, 6 months, where those slight differences and those decisions, or those rash decisions, or the indecisions compound, and
One of the big
psychologically-
things I talk about on the risk review to people is trying to get them into that psychology of their RR versus their holding time and how
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
And they're mainly out of kilter with going too big, not being able to hold on to it for too long, and not being comfortable being positioned long or short in the same way. And because psychology for some people just can't be short or can't be long. They're just not used to it. And it's just allowing these trades when they win to get over the one from 1R to R. So it gives you that chance of the stats taking care of themselves.
Is it so important? So, as an example, you're feeling like shit in general life, okay? To put trading aside for the time being. Things might not be going well.
Give us an example of what you'd be feeling shit about.
I don't know, like something bad's happening in your family.
Like
right?
what?
Like a death in the family, or whatever it may be. Okay, so you're feeling a little bit low. Is it so important that you would not trade if you felt like that?
100%.
And then when you're feeling better, when you're feeling strong, fit, gym, that's when you're in a better mindset.
Would you trade if you've had 5
no,
pints?
what I'm
I think
saying
there's
is,
an in-between
do you
though.
think that would affect performance
Yeah.
that much? I'm not so sure.
I do.
I'm not so sure.
I think if you're depending on the seriousness.
If
or
it's
the extent-
financial, it would.
Yeah,
If you're struggling with money, definitely
No,
would.
no, because that relates to this, so you can't
yeah,
use
like
that.
the seriousness, or let's say your best mate passed away. Yeah,
Oh,
you use
fuck,
that.
mate, this is...
Hold on, no.
This is an
Which
extreme
you need to
example.
use an
Yeah,
extreme.
well, that's-
example.
well,
But
before you need to-
and you're in a completely different mindset.
We've
and
actually got
you're
one of
not
these.
clear. You're foggy. You're going to make rash decisions. You're going to make a different.
How did he pass away?
You might.
But we've
But
got
you might just have a fuck it kind of moment, punt it,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
I'll hold it, or fuck it, and that could
Well, it sounds like you've got an example.
I have. It's in the catalogue of Louis Port, isn't it? Of our trader interviews. His grandma.
Yes, it is. Oh, yeah,
his grandma was really ill, and he was
Good lad, Louis.
he'd totally come back from disaster scenario. Had given up his job to do
She
this.
passed away, actually.
So he was coming through this whole thing, and then his grandma was ill with cancer, and then he was on top of it, and she passed away. And he just could tell himself that he just totally he was totally affected by it.
Yeah.
His decision making, he was willing to let everything go to shit.
Yeah.
And he pulled the plug on it and he said, "I'm just walking away."
Yeah.
And then he was able to come back, and he understood his feelings. I could tell my whole attitude had changed. Like, almost.
But I think that's discipline in general. That's discipline in general because he could put a stop on it. Whereas someone like myself, I couldn't. I would just be like, yeah, I'm fine anyway. But really
this comes down to, I mean, we've taken this example to the extreme where it's kind of now got into the realm of, mental health. Like, is it affecting you mentally and decisions? And there's there's a few things that we want to do towards men's mental health charities.
Which when's that getting announced?
Soon, one day.
Psychology
and mental health it definitely has a big impact. You've seen it in the city, you see it in the movies, people jumping from buildings because they've got themselves into such a rut trading, or they're so offside, or they've margin called an entire bank. Like there's been a few in
but you do get that, you're in a bad run on your trading, and then things are going wrong in your life and you start thinking I can never win.
And you just start throwing these Hail Marys and these fuck it's.
But as they say it, this too shall pass.
Yes.
Next question.
That is true.
So how do you have them Chinese looking fortune cookie?
Yeah, fortune cookie. Yeah.
You are going to win 20 million. Oh, nice. Data from prop firms is monetizable. Question to you too.
Yes, but not on an individual basis. It's extremely. You have to look at the whole data set. It's not the same way that people might think from the outside looking in. It's not like you find one trader, you copy exactly what that trader does. It doesn't work like that, because one trader, they're doing good. They have a good 2 weeks and they blow the account the next week. It's so up and down.
We might see the odd trader there that we might want to e-book ourselves on a private account.
You're entitled to do that. There's no reason why you can't do that. You're still taking your own risk. I don't think anybody will understand what we do behind the scenes. The type of software that we have running and the things that we're looking at.
But you have to look at it as a whole.
But I do also know there's other prop firms that do this, like some high-end prop firms, which is brilliant.
But like Georgie says, you do have to look at it like a whole data set
and look at where the retail market is.
Yeah, exactly that. And thankfully, we're now getting that volume, which is
the tools
valuable,
that we're building, and the way that we're approaching the data at the moment it's at a good stage. But I think over the next 3 to 6 months, the levels that we're going to be taking that to second to none. And I really think, come next year, if we achieve what we're getting closer and closer to, I really think that will set us apart by a long shot in terms of how we can price ourselves in the market.
One to Planty.
Oh no.
And to Drew. And to me. Or me, probably. You. Yeah.
He's getting ageist again, I can tell.
Trading 10 years ago was much harder than now.
Easier.
In what respect?
It was less volatile. All markets in general just seemed a lot less volatile. But I think 10 years before that, it was probably even...
it's all cyclical, right?
Lively. I think Planty is best positioned probably to answer that.
I think, as you quite rightly said, things are cyclical. Is it hard or easy? There's actually... It's both, because there's more information available to you now and at every level of trading than there's ever been.
Yeah.
Which by definition, analysis paralysis, you're going to end up looking at too many things. So it's just as hard trying to decipher what is counting, and you've got so many views, and you can't. Once you've watched one thing on YouTube, you've got it forevermore, haven't you? You can't get rid of the bloody thing.
Well, you have, but the way I see it, where I'd find it difficult now, and this might sound so straightforward, what I'm going to say, but I just used to like trading the indices, Dow, DAX, FTSE, S&P 500, done a lot of that. But
how much money you got?
The market's just, over a period of time, they grow, right? So now, a 1,000-point move on the Dow Jones
Nothing.
is not a big move. But
And yet
when
the
you were
media still
trading
says, "Oh, it's moved 600 points today," and it's like nothing.
it's like nothing, is it?
I remember
and the DAX. I remember
even
trading
6-7 years ago,
DAX
that was-
at 6,000-7,000 levels.
Remember,
And it
Jimmy said this
6-7 years ago.
on that
1,000
podcast.
points.
Remember,
He did,
he was trading on 87 as a runner, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the market halved, which was now, if you look at it on the chart, you can't even find it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like what 500 points, but everyone had lost half the money. It's like it's serious stuff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just found it a lot easier to trade now. If I walked in now to try and trade sort of DAX and Dow at 10, 20, 30 euro per point trades,
But this is the whole
probably
thing.
get carried.
But this is what we try and advise people. You've got to adjust to the levels and the volatility and your
Yeah.
staking. And it is. And like I say, they'll go for advice to someone that's been around before, and that's how you'd have approached it in a different era. And you have got to adjust. So
It's mad when you used to think Dow 20,000 was that number, wasn't it?
Well,
Now-
Yeah, I know.
That was that big 6 years
laughed
ago.
at it, didn't they?
That was like 5-6 years ago. That was a big number. Dow 20,000. now.
Everyone's like, no way, no chance. Can't.
But even like I had Bloomberg on yesterday when I was writing something up, and there's a guy I used to work with, a strategist at a thing. He was brought on as a guest, and they were asking about politics. He went, "You know what? When I started, no one gave a monkeys, and now you can't have a view without having to have a view on politics."
Yeah.
And as it's playing out, so there are things involved now that weren't involved before.
weren't in it, yeah.
So
Quantitative easy.
yeah,
I know.
that was never going to happen.
Well, that's what,
that was a
keeps it
paper.
up, though, right?
Yeah.
Political stuff and
it does,
QE
yeah.
keeps it up. So if you don't have, if you take that away,
We'd have had a
there's
mega
an
crash.
even steal.
No, it's all right.
And now it's all going to be politically focused to actually keep it up. What's good for the market, what's not good for the market,
Yeah.
what they're selling us is good for the market. But
But
that's
you know,
another story.
you need, and that's something you've got to be careful of, because whenever people start meddling historically, that's when
it goes
near the
to
top.
shit.
It's,
Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure that you sign up to our and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get more content like this of us talking and discussing different parts of the market, as well as Planty's brain box there in terms of his thoughts on the market in general. If you do get a chance, get into our Discord as well. Planty does a lot of live streams through there, and he's also got his own channel to keep you up to date with what's going on. Don't forget, 6th of July, we've got a major event in the Park Plaza in London, on the South Bank, I believe it is, or on the other side of the bank, one of the two, but more information is going to follow. There's first come, first served, 250 guests, hosted by the guy from Riz Burgundy from Words of Wisdom, and we'll be there too, as well as a load of other influencers and people that are speaking about trading. What else? Anything else? Yeah, Alpha Future as well. That's launching. That's going to be exciting. And also in the background, we've got ACG markets, which is slowly warming up as well. So make sure you don't miss it, and we will see you soon.